Okay, good day. So we have two numbers here, A and B. Okay, A and B. And we're saying that they have a difference of 8 and a product of 65. Okay, so whenever you see this word difference, that means subtraction. Okay, so A minus B equals 8. See, they have a difference of 8. And they have a product of 65. Whenever you see this word product, that means multiplication. So we're going to say that A times B equals 65. Okay, so there's our setup. A minus B equals 8, and A times B equals 65. So the easiest way to do this is to kind of do substitution, and it's kind of a long way of doing it. Okay, perhaps you could kind of see this in your head already. A times B, well, what two numbers multiply together to give you 65? Okay, those are going to be two prime numbers. It's going to be 5 and 13. Okay, 5 times 13 gives you 65, and 13 minus 5 equals 8. So you may say to yourself, okay, A equals 13 and B equals 5. Okay, you may think that this is your answer. Well, that's true. Okay, that's one part of the answer, but there's also more to it. Okay, there's also another answer, and I'm going to show you that right now. Kind of the long way to do this using algebra. So what that looks like, okay, is what we're going to do is we're going to do this substitution. So A minus B equals 8. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that kind of goes into A equals 8 plus B. Okay, all I did was add B to both sides. Okay, add B to both sides. I just kind of did plus B here, plus B here. Okay, this side cancels out. Okay, so that's your transpose and apply. I'm just transposing this to the other side of the equal sign, adding B to both sides. This is what we get. A equals 8 plus B. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this A equals 8 plus B, this A and this A. Okay, I'm going to substitute 8 plus B in for the A, because we're saying A equals 8 plus B, so I could kind of change this out. Okay, so now we have 8 plus B times B equals 65. See, all I did was I took this A, plugged it in here. It's 8 plus B. So now instead of A, we have 8 plus B times B equals 65. Okay, so what that gives us, first thing we're going to kind of do here is we're going to distribute this B in like this. We have 8B plus B squared equals 65. Okay, just simply doing distribution. Now subtracting 65 from both sides, we have 8B plus B squared minus 65 equals 0. Okay, and I want to put this kind of in order. So we have B squared plus 8B minus 65 equals 0. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and erase some of this stuff here, kind of all this work here. I'm going to leave this point here, so if you want to write this stuff down, I just suggest putting this on pause and writing it down. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. Okay, so we have this B squared plus 8B minus 65 equals 0. Now, as you remember, your factoring quadratics, okay, is we need to find something that multiplies together to negative 65 and adds up to a positive 8. So once again, we're going to factor negative 65. That could be negative 5 and positive 13, or that could be positive 5 times negative 13. Okay, those are pretty much the only ones that we could, the only combinations that we could do, the only factors. 65, the only factors are 5 and 13. Both of those are prime numbers. So these are the only factors that we get for negative 65. And we need to find which combination of these adds up to a positive 8. Okay, well, negative 13 plus 5, that gives us a negative 8. And positive 13 minus 5 give us a positive 8. So we're going to go ahead and say that it's this combination here. Okay, this is the correct combination here. So we're going to go ahead and erase this here. We're going to say that this is kind of how we do it. We're going to say that B minus 5 times b plus 13 equals 65. Okay, when we factor this quadratic, this is what we get as our factors. Equals 0. Now, when we factor this quadratic, okay, this is the factors that we get. B minus 5 times b plus 13 equals 0. What we do at this point is we want to zero one of these out, because let's say you have 0 times b plus 13 equals 0. Yes, because anything times 0 equals 0. Okay, so our goal here is to kind of either zero this factor out or zero this factor out, or zero both of them out. So for this one, we have b minus 5 equals 0, and we have b plus 13 equals 0. Okay, so b equals 5 and b equals negative 13. Okay, so these are the two answers that we get for b. b equals 5 and b equals negative 13. Okay, so now let's take these two answers that we just got by doing all this factoring. Okay, plug them back into this original equation here and see what we could get for a. Okay, so b equals 5 and b equals negative 13. So let's see what this looks like. I'm going to bring these up here. So let's say that, let's do this first one here, b equals 5. So a minus 5 equals 8. Okay, so adding 5 to both sides, plus 5, we get a equals positive 13. Okay, so when b is 5, a equals 13. So we have one of our solutions is going to be a equals 13 and b equals 5. Okay, there's the solution that we got in the very beginning. Remember when I factored this 65? I said that that's 5 times 13. Okay, but if I didn't do all this work, then you might not recognize that there's another solution. Okay, and that other solution is what we're going to do now. And that is when b equals negative 13. Okay, so erasing some of this stuff here. So let's plug in this b equals negative 13. Let's plug that in here. So we have a minus negative 13 equals 8. So that's the same as saying a plus 13 equals 8. Okay, subtracting 13 from both sides, we get a equals negative 5. So our other solution, we have a equals negative 5 and b equals negative 13. Okay, so there it is. Those are the two answers. Okay, a equals 13, b equals 5, and a equals negative 5, b equals negative 13. Okay, let's plug these both back in to our given parameters here. Okay, let's plug this solution and this solution back into these given parameters and see that everything works out. Okay, so plugging the first one back in, a equals 13, b equals 5, both positive. So we have 13 minus 5 equals 8, and 13 times 5 equals 65. Okay, yes, that's true. 13 minus 5 equals 8. 13 times 5 equals 65. Yes, this is true. So this one here checks off. Okay, now let's try this second one down here. Okay, so we have negative 5 minus 13 equals 8. And negative 5 times negative 13 equals positive 65. Okay, does negative 5 times negative 13 equal positive 65? Yes, negative times a negative is a positive. So we're going to say this one checks out. Okay, negative 5 minus a minus 13. Okay, that's the same as saying negative 5 plus 13 equals 8. Okay, remember when you subtract a negative, that's the same as addition. Okay, When you subtract a negative, that's the same thing as adding. So negative 5 plus 13, does that equal 8? Yes, it does. So we could see this one checks off. So turns out that, if you just do this real quick, you figure, hey, I'm a real smart guy. I could figure this out like we did in the very beginning. What ends up happening is you miss this entire other solution. Okay, so this other solution might escape you if you don't do all this quadratic and factoring and all this work, that this second solution here might escape you. So, this may seem a real simple question on the surface. All I have to do is factor 65. That gives me 13 times 5. There's a difference of 8. You say, okay, here's the answer. Well, it turns out there's a second answer as well. So sometimes it kind of pays to do the long work. It may take you a little while longer, but you get a better understanding of how mathematics works, and don't miss your second solution set. Okay, I want to thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you like these type of math videos, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more videos, and leave a comment down below. Thank you.